or put in for reimbursement.
Well, I will deal with John and send him something at some point, but that's not the critical part.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it's here in our hands.
Yeah.
I mean, the
That's
important thing is
huge.
it's a gift
Yeah, it's here.
that both Tim and I and Andrea wanted to give to the city ultimately,
Yeah, hopefully.
Ah.
because the city deserves this. Do you like that?
Look at those trees
Yes.
on the
Isn't that
common,
amazing?
elms,
Yes,
Elms.
elms.
and now we have Norway maples.
Yep. I know, those beautiful elms.
Cool,
They are,
cool,
they're
cool.
beautiful.
And so I'll reach back out with Caitlin and to Eric and see if they put it, to make sure it's available electronically on the
Yeah,
website.
if she has the PDF and the hard copy, but as long as
Yeah, it's,
she's, as you know, she's working on doing a whole new website.
Yeah.
She's in touch with those people, so we say, get that PDF to them.
Perfect.
And whether it's on, however that happens, it happens, but she's got it.
Nice, good. It's awesome. So, I guess that kind of, segues us into the Vintage Days update. This will be perfect for Vintage Days. The timing is really, really great. And that was a major accomplishment, I think, to have it and to have a little present from us. I know that Rachel Roberts, the GBA coordinator, is gonna be psyched. So, I've been kind of busy with that, running around, trying to like pull strings and connect people, and, I mean, I have a lot going on. I'm gonna be volunteering at Blacksmith, at the Court Square, and I'll have some, like my students, blacksmithing club, you know, and, so I won't be running the booth, but it looks like we'll have a little table, and Dave Brock has volunteered to man that.
the whole time or for what time?
You know, that's a good question. I guess a Dave time, whatever he can do, and whatever
Well-
else we can stopgap or something, you know.
Why don't we all have
A slot?
a slot?
I'm at the museum all day.
Oh, you're at the museum, you're away,
Yeah, see that, right, that's,
I'm
Yeah.
here.
Sorry.
Doug, are you
Yeah.
around?
What's the date?
24th, I believe.
24th.
Yeah, it's the
I
Saturday.
think I just got booked.
And we're away too, that's the problem.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
oh,
the,
you're away?
Yeah,
Oh my
that's-
God.
yeah, that's what I, right.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
Take
but it's all
what we
good,
get
you know,
from
and it's,
I can
Whatever
do,
Dave
I
can do.
I could do a 2-hour slot.
that's perfect, and I will just,
I'll hand out as many, are we selling them or are we just showing them?
There's going to be, my understanding is there's gonna be 2 sample copies, and then we can just take a list of people who literally don't wanna download the PDF, but wanna buy one. So they will be sellable $15, and we can either deliver to Dave a pile
yeah,
to sell right then.
Yeah,
I would think so.
Sure,
I think that's
I think
better.
we set away, we put a box
Yeah.
of about, I think there's 25 in the box that are for sale. You
Yeah,
can just give it to David or to somebody.
I think that's fine,
They'll be
perfectly
gone.
fine.
They'll be gone.
Yeah.
I think they will.
Give
I do
2
think so.
boxes.
They'll go quick.
Yeah,
I do think so.
I think so, I think they'll be
Huh?
And I think that,
like water on a hot griddle.
you know, we can get more people to fill the space a little bit, and I probably can, I will be right there.
And I can
so,
ask the printer what additional copies would cost,
Yeah,
yeah.
just to
Yeah.
find out.
yeah.
Do you
Because,
wanna have a couple at your shop?
We could, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take some, yeah.
because digital printing is very, very different from offset printing, as you know.
Yeah.
And it's a per issue kind of thing, but we have to find out what the minimum
Sure.
order from him might be. It's,
Right.
it's somewhere, it's kind of like print on demand, but not really.
Well, they used to, and, yeah,
There is print on demand, but this.
they used to have a
printer-
upfront thing to make the plates and stuff, but they don't have to do that, so.
Yeah.
No,
it's
no,
hard
no,
to
no.
say.
That's exactly this.
Yeah.
They don't have that. All they have to do is decide.
Yeah,
Right.
Fit it in the schedule.
And so what would be the turnaround time if somebody wanted one?
That might be very fast. I'll,
Couple weeks or something?
yeah, I'll talk to Jamie and ask
depends on
him.
how backed up they are.
Yeah, okay, I mean, just in case somebody asks, you know.
Now for this table, do we have a little banner that we could put on it that
I don't think we
identifies
do.
us?
I don't think we do. I think
Do we have any artifacts we
No,
could
but-
put that
but
would be kind
I-
of fun?
that's a great, I think you're striking on something that's interesting, is that we do have a little bit of money in the budget. We could get a banner printed up, which we can then use
we will.
Wouldn't it
lots
be
of-
nice to, yeah,
Whenever, right, so
Put us
say we
on the
wanted to
map.
set up at the Greenfield, the fair or whatever.
right,
So I'll talk to them about getting that.
okay.
I'm sure they would be up for it.
Maybe have some sort
Should be
of,
the size.
You wanna design it,
size
Margo?
of one of those regular
No.
tables.
You sure? Would you like Kaya to design it for us?
yeah,
She
you wanna
probably-
do a banner? Kyle?
She- See, well, there you go. Okay, so moved.
I second it.
Should
No,
have
I-
a-
There's hearts on it.
there will be hearts on it.
Okay.
Mandatory. Yeah, I think that's a great
Okay.
idea. And,
And I just thought if we only could have some sort of interesting pieces of something.
well, we could.
I'm sure we can
get
find
some-
things. We
Yeah.
can find you something from the museum.
Yeah, I've got plenty of artifacts I can bring over.
Oh, good. I mean,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Yeah,
stage
we can
couldn't
find
make
you
it, but,
something, yeah.
you know, but you tried.
Yeah. Yeah, so, right, so to continue with the Broads thing of Vintage Days, I did go and look at the town stagecoach, and if you guys don't know about it, it is awesome. Awesome, beautiful. It doesn't look to be in really bad condition, but it's kind of deceiving.
It's all dried up, that's the problem.
It's all dried up.
When the spokes, they dry up, they get loose in the wheels, everything dries up and it all pulls apart because it's all pegged and stuff and a little bit of iron, but mostly not, so.
Yeah, wood and leather, and a stagecoach is like a box that's suspended by leather straps on like a frame, a rolling chassis. It's pretty cool when you look at it, like it's literally just it's suspended
Yeah.
by long strips of leather, and that's where you get that smooth ride on that. And when you look at it, it doesn't look, it's not a bust, when you look at it, it doesn't look beat up or it looks quite nice.
Yeah.
And I think it's been stored indoors, it's a heated garage, it's a pretty good space. But after going and inspecting it and talking to DPW and talking back to the mayor and, there's not really the time. Work would have to be done to stabilize it, even to get it onto a trailer.
Yeah.
Even to get it from where it is onto a trailer, work would have to be done. This would be there would have to be like a great CPC project or some kind of other project to do that for a next year project. Maybe next year. they
I
can do it.
want red.
And I know that the last time, I've been the guy who kind of goes and makes it happen. The last time I got it out was 2016, I guess, which is a while ago now. And it for the Franklin County Fair Parade, which it's been in forever. I have footage of it in the VJ Day Parade.
How'd you get it over there? It's on the trailer
The DPW guys got it onto a trailer.
and it was sitting on its wheels?
And it was sitting on its wheels, yeah. And when I talked to Marlo, head of DPW, who remembers that occasion, and he was like, dude, yeah, the bearings were locking up, it was kind of scary,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
It
like,
wouldn't take much of a jolt for it to just.
Yeah.
and it's just, you don't wanna destroy it to get it to the, so, but it is one of the coolest things in town, and I would, if this was March, I'd say, okay, we could do it, but we just don't have the means to make it happen.
Is that a
What would it
concrete coach,
cost?
It's a Concord coach, which is a huge deal. So
Yeah.
what's known as the Concord Coach Company, they had a name like Downs and Reader or something like that, but they're known as the Concord Coach Company. They're Concord, New Hampshire,
Concord, New Hampshire?
and they made the best coaches in America, hands down. They made the actual Pony Express,
Or the cross-country ones that Mark Twain rode in?
the ones that you've seen in the movies and stuff. They're beautiful. And years ago, when Bill was the mayor, and I chased this a little bit back then, and was in touch with those people, an actual restoration is in the hundreds of thousands,
Oh,
obviously.
really?
Our sister newspaper in Concord, New Hampshire, the Concord Monitor, has in its lobby a Concord coach, which they got up there, and they restored it
Wow.
so that it could sit in their lobby. And the bill was paid for by all the newspapers, whether they wanted to or not.
Right, yeah.
Basically, so, yeah, it was a considerable chunk of money. When they
Well, we
built their
should
new
get a
building.
proposal to find out.
And I can find out how much it cost, but it's
Yeah.
been quite a few years.
It was
ago,
6
so-
figures. I remember that.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, like I said,
Maybe, MacArthur
There's a handful of
Foundation would-
people that can even do it, so that's the problem.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
You
and
know, need somebody that really knows, you need a wheelwright, you need
we,
a bunch of.
you know, Greg, and at the end of the day, it's like, we don't wanna drive it.
Why?
We don't need to drive
No.
Stabilize it.
Right. I just
Stabilize
need
it,
to
put
put
it
it
up on
on
some kind of stanchion
on
so the
stilts
wheels,
and,
so the rails aren't taking the weight,
Yeah.
you know, build a stand.
With a frame around it.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and if we, you know, we could have it in a parade once a year would be
What
sweet.
is this?
Right.
But spending $100,000 or so just to, you know, it's like restoring a covered bridge that nobody drives over. You're like, really? You know, just saying.
yeah.
So, it's neither here nor there, but it's not gonna be a Vintage Days. The other thing that I worked on a bit was the walking trails, the historic tours, and I talked to Kay Lyons at the Historic Society. She's a librarian who's now retired, so she's got tons of time, because retired people have tons of time. And I encouraged her to work on whatever tour, and to get the Historic Society open, and to, you know,
That's
to
the
have
big
people.
thing.
They're planning on being open.
Yes, that's what
Yeah.
I've heard.
She's married to Rick Roy,
Yeah,
Right.
photographer,
right.
and the two of them have done a lot of projects together along these lines, so they really deliver.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think I got her the bug, and
Oh, good,
new cell phone policy, guys, just saying. You have to lock them up.
right, lock them up.
That's right.
That is right.
That's right.
The right,
It's
the
for my
right.
wife.
Well, yeah, well,
Uh-oh.
that's what they all say. That's, let me talk to her. Who is this? What are you wearing right now? Khakis? Sorry. So, the other piece that I tried to do was to try to get the scouts to run a couple of tours, and that's likely, but not locked. I'm just hoping to get Tim to meet with me and them maybe, so Tim could kind of like, you know, we could make a kind of a prepackaged kind of tour,
Yeah.
so they can just kind of do it. I think it would be a great experience for them, great exposure for them. You know, to me, it would be
Absolutely.
awesome.
Absolutely.
So, right, so
Are we gonna have the trolley? There used
the
to-
trolley, I believe, will be available,
I've heard
correct?
that.
That'll be good.
It's gonna shuttle between, I know, Town Common, the Historical Society, and the museum
Oh,
at least.
excellent.
Yeah,
That's
that's the preliminary that I heard.
That's the main,
Yeah.
that's the hit, so, yeah. Yeah,
And we're gonna have an open house, so all the crafters in the building, the
Yeah.
blacksmith,
right.
the luthier, they'll all be,
The society's having an open house as well,
yeah,
so
they'll all be open.
Yeah.
I understand.
Anyway,
So the scouts might do it, or they think?
they might do it. You know, they're going back to school, so they're
Yeah.
busy. So we'll see. And it's hard because here we are, September 1st, back to school. We got the fair. There's a lot of stuff happening at once.
Yeah,
But I think I can get it to happen even if they're not on the clock for the whole day, even if they're only there for a couple hours, 12 to 2.
Yeah.
that'd be
I think
great.
it would be really sweet, and even if we just do the Court Square piece, I think it's important,
I made a mouse.
as you know, to have the monograph and to actually walk over to some of those sites
Yes.
is huge.
Yeah.
I think, and I think
Yeah.
I think it could be
That would be nice,
the
yeah.
start of something really
Absolutely.
important for Greenfield. That's a precedent, so I want to try to make that happen. To me,
Sure.
that's the most important part of Vintage Days.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, So yeah, that's,
You should make sure we get it, the PDF posted and have the link right there, so people can pick that up right at Vintage Days, whether it's a QR code on the table or whatever. And
Yeah.
if you need it put somewhere, we can put it on the museum website if, I'm sure the town can get it up
Yeah.
quicker,
yep.
but that should be there. So people really understand they can PDF download
Right,
it.
right. Have to explain what the PDF
Okay.
is. What's it stand for? Oh,
Okay.
actually.
Okay,
Anyhow,
That used to, ask a lot of my students that.
Yeah,
I used to ask them what RGB meant too.
Yeah, yeah.
It was why it was important.
Okay.
Next.
Next thing I have is CPC review, for me,
So
so
it's on your website and they can download it, that's great.
Yeah, we could do it.
we should totally do it anyway.
They could download it on their phone and just walk around.
Right. It should be on the town one,
Yeah,
but
it's a
we'll,
lot,
we'll
yeah.
back you up if it should be on the town website, but we'll back you up
Okay.
if it doesn't,
good.
if
But
it's not
making it
happening.
into a walking tour form is slightly,
Well, yeah, but if you follow this, it goes building by building.
Mhm.
right,
It's set up, so if you have it on your phone, it was kind of used as a tour format.
okay,
Oh,
alright.
cool.
Because every piece is.
Deliberately goes
see,
around,
Yeah.
It goes around and every piece is independent
yeah,
of any other piece,
yeah.
which was put that way so that you can like flip to the middle and read about the,
Mhm.
and you know it works that way.
That's cool.
It's
Yeah,
not,
it is.
it's not continuous in that sense. In fact, the content shows all the buildings and you can go to any building and it stands alone.
We just needed like on cassette, or can we get somebody to narrate?
It's still, you wouldn't want to
A
hear all
well-known
that.
voice.
Yeah.
I
Do you think they want to know all that too? No, no.
Okay.
Okay, moving on,
You don't know what
good.
people want.
So CPC review, we had a meeting on the 25th. And so, as you know, we had the hearing, people have been giving us their ideas. We've been getting applications, or they're pre-applications right now. So that have been coming in. Let's see.
Did their survey make it yet?
There was
As a
a,
pre-app? Or that survey upgrade?
no, did you send one in, or did somebody send one in? The
I
town?
think that Athena was gonna do it, but
Yeah, right.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
Should I email her or something?
Yeah, if you could find out, make sure, because
Yeah.
you wanna make sure that I is
We
dotted.
wanna get in
Yeah,
line,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I am, I mean, I hope more people get it out there, and I said at the meeting that I was concerned that people thought that they could just give us the idea and we would do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, no, seriously, and then the other part of it was, realistically, it could be very daunting to be like, oh, I'm gonna make this application for this money, like what, like, it's beyond the scope of what people think.
Yeah.
And a lot of people said they would help on a project or support the project or do something like that, but they were reluctant to make an application.
Mm.
And so I did suggest that we try to, reach back out or give some more information to try to clear that up or to help facilitate or coach people who are trying to navigate this process.
You almost need a workshop.
Oh, right, and that kind of came up, is
Yeah,
to do
You had a
that.
workshop or two that said, okay, you know, if you wanna try to get into on this, we'll show you the basics of how to
Yeah,
do the proposal.
and it's tricky because like, a project could have merits in a lot of different areas, but which is the one that you wanna target? Is it more recreation? Like I always bring up the example of the clay tennis courts, which is kind of is a real example, was very
It's a
historic,
great thing, yeah,
but
it's
it's
a
also
thing.
recreation. It's owned by the town, therefore it could be like supported by the recreation department, which is really the DPW. So that was another point, that if, any projects that are on town land, like tennis court, even if a private person was the applicant, the co-applicant would be the DPW, because it's on their land. So they would have to approve, the codes and the regulations and the dirt, whatever it is that they have to do, like, which makes sense. And I think that people don't necessarily know either, so, I would say it's off to kind of a slow start a little bit, but I feel like we are gonna be getting, these pre-applications they're gonna kind of pour in, and then we're gonna have to start crunching them out and saying, oh, we want money to help restore this structure, but most of the structure has been changed and, is it maintenance or is it restoration? Is it repair or is it whatever? And, yeah, and I think that's gonna be the hard part. I mean, I welcome you guys to come to the meetings, absolutely, because
When's the next one?
it's always the, what is it,
Third
the third?
something or other.
Yeah, of the month. I think it's the 22nd. Yeah, it's the 22nd is the next meeting at 5:30. So, go to the meetings. People should go.
Is there still a vacancy?
No, there is no vacancy.
Oh, misinformed.
But there is a Google Drive and there's an application and all that jazz, and you can reach out to the town and find out more information about it. Pre-applications we accepted in September. The earlier you submit, the earlier we can inform you of the status of your project. And obviously the goal is to try to help people, to try to make the project applicable or functional, whether it's a yes or not, whether it's something that it needs to, it's never gonna work, or it's not the right fit for it, or what they need to do to try to make it work. So yeah, it was good, pretty good meeting, I guess. But that's the deal. So yeah, so that's the next meeting. And what else do I have? So, and you can, Christian LaPlante is the liaison for the town, if I didn't mention that. So they had like a feedback like listening sessions they had. They had one at the farmer's market, and then they had one at the swimming area. And they were just, like a table set up, people would come out and ask questions, get information, that feedback kind of stuff. So I'm not gonna go through all of it, but I'll go through the historic one. What they have here is develop, preserve Wilson's into a mixed-use property to be both commercial and residential. Retail, housing, hotel, offices, etc. in parentheses.
So these are just ideas that were
This is
brought
feedback
up.
that,
These were not project
No.
applicant. These
Yeah.
were just people coming up and saying, oh, it would be nice if we
Literally.
did this.
yes,
Okay.
right, this is people come up with, you should do this.
Yeah.
Or here's a good idea.
Here's a good idea. Okay.
And that's all it is. So it's, and what they did is they simply compiled it, and it's in a PowerPoint,
Right.
which you guys can see, but, so the Wilsons, number 2, develop the old bank building. Number 3, use the old library as the town's historical society. And number 4, support the clay tennis courts, which is mentioned earlier. And again, because that is both a recreation type thing and a historic kind of thing, so depending on whatever.
When are those date from? 50s?
The clay courts? That's a good question. No, I think they're old. I think they're old.
Because I thought they were,
Not the ones at Beacon, but the ones at Highlands.
no, I know, one's at Highland, but I thought they were at the same time as the golf course. They were not?
I think they're old. I think turn of the century.
Is it-
Yeah, I would think they'd be like
Really?
early 1900s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, when tennis became like a thing.
Yeah, when the big,
More.
when the
I
big
should look,
houses
try to
got
find
built.
that out. I don't know when that is.
Yeah, because I do recall that there's a society, or is it a club or whatever, that, anyway, somebody did contact us years ago now about the clay tennis courts, and they said, oh, we would like to, well, the historic commission, and I said, well, you would have to reach out to Mass Historic and find out what you could do, and find out all that kind of stuff, and, we
Oh,
could.
they wanted to designate them in some way?
Yeah, they wanted to know if, like, we could support them if they wanted to restore them or something like that. So, there is a group that kind of takes care of them a little bit.
Greenfield Tennis
Association?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right, yeah, and not a.
Clay tennis court.
Association,
Yeah.
yeah.
You don't know who's involved?
They help go and
You know
take the
who's in-
lines up, put them down,
You know who's involved in that, any names?
yeah. Lots. Let me think. I'll find you one.
Just being a name, I'd just like to know if they've got a history of the courts.
Yeah. They might.
Yeah.
Save a lot of going through the town histories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't recall, I don't really remember the whole conversation, because it was years ago, but
Yeah.
they, you know, they were interested and they wanted to know if it was a thing, and it was like, I mean, you know, I remember them telling me that they were really old and all this kind of stuff, and it was kind of rare, like it was a special thing.
Yeah,
And I was like, sure, you know, I suppose.
yeah.
It was the Greenfield Tennis Association.
Okay.
Yeah, Harry Bovio is one of the people, Brian, somebody.
Does it say anything about the clay courts on there at all, at the
Well,
year?
I typed in specifically the clay courts.
Is there a contact for that?
I can forward you this
Oh, please,
email.
that'd be great, thank you. I just for some research, just like to know.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, so that's kind of where the CPC is at now. Yeah, it's just pre-applications for now. Alright, anyway. Let's see. Let's see, rug building demo project, not much with that. I was contacted with the new owner or potential owner, inviting us to tour it, as we mentioned last month, and to set up a date, so I figured I would get back to him, take a look at it, and try to document it, Ed Gregory, somebody like that.
Bring it.
Yeah, ideally, yeah. Yeah, because it is a very interesting building.
Yeah, I'd love to.
And, yeah, and a lot went on there. Okay. Meeting with the mayor. So with the mayor, Margot and I met with the mayor, and of course you guys are always welcome. But we talked about Vintage Days a little bit. We talked a little bit about the rug building. Oh yeah, and you remember Athena was here, and she talked about the idea to put a railing, a handicap railing on the front of the Weeda Hogan House. Were you here for that?
No,
Yeah.
she talked about doing a handicap access ramp.
Right,
That's what we-
right.
That's what I mean, ADA.
Yeah.
When I say ADA.
When you say railing, I don't understand. Railing.
Ramp,
Ramp,
ramp
Okay.
with the railing.
okay, all right.
But, right, so she'd come here, and I guess they were looking about to try to expand that.
Yeah,
And Margot sort of said that she would look, you know, we were initially, I think, were like, whoa. But it, like, I was picturing like this horrible thing. Of course, afterwards I went over and looked at the building, you know, closer. I stood in front of it, and when you look in front, the main entrance where the front stairs are is brick, which is also not original, and it looks kind of ugly anyway, just saying. And it's in horrible shape, meaning like it would probably have to be completely demolished.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, I would. So then it made me think, well, geez, if you're gonna have to demolish it anyway, why not do that? But I don't know, so,
but that ramp, Margaret, didn't you say something about the length of that ramp? Are you
To
talking
the very
about,
central
talking about
door.
from the parking area over on the right-hand side as you face it? Go across the front of the building?
I don't have
Not talking about coming up from the sidewalk.
Right, I mean, basically, it was a study, and the mayor's decided to put it off
Okay,
after our meeting. I mean,
okay.
they're
Yeah.
not gonna, the grant that she was going for was very fast-paced, and what needed to be done in 4 weeks was more than
Okay.
humanly possible, even with me volunteering.
Okay.
which was very nice of you.
Okay.
For sure.
Good.
So that's off the table for now.
Mhm.
What else are we talking about? Oh, the Riddell building,
Yeah,
the old Wells tool factory building, which is now being used as storage. The mayor had never been to the building, and so Margot and I described it to her and how cool it was and how important and historic it was and all that. And we provided her pictures, interior pictures showing it as, clear span. You can look from one end all the way through to the other side. And to me, the building is solid. And talking to DPW, it's solid. It needs a roof, but otherwise it's pretty weather tight.
What do they use it for now? What storage what?
General storage. GSET uses it for storage.
Okay.
GSET.
and parking buses and.
Right, correct.
In the yard.
Buses, central maintenance uses it as storage. It's a catch-all, would be a good.
What number Riddell is it? You know?
It's
Where-
across the street from the.
It's next to Brown Motors, what
Yeah,
used to be Brown
yeah,
Motors.
right.
And it goes from Riddell to Beacon Street.
Right,
It's kind of that hollow.
Right,
And
okay.
there was
now
a
I-
house next door that they demolished.
Right,
And that, so it's a, let's just say it's a somewhat of a compromised property because it's low-lying, and my memory was that they demolished the house next to it so they could build that huge culvert to catch all that water.
okay,
And it was also a place where they was thinking about putting the fire station,
right.
which
Right.
was partly why they didn't put it there, was because of that. But
Drainage.
anyway, it's there, it's cool. She's looking at getting a grant to get it cleaned up and to either demolish it and build a Butler building or something like that.
Or put a good roof on it.
Or put a good roof
Yeah.
on it. And so Margot and I kind of encouraged her, is like, well, if you fix it, please, rather than demolish and put a steel building up there.
Yeah.
And actually, the way the
so much
lot,
better built than any.
Yeah, it's a well-built building, yeah.
it's so much, right, and it's, to me, I think it's architecturally unique. It's a pretty unique, because it's not an old style factory building like Chauncey Wing or Wood or something like that, or like the museum is. It's modern. When it was built, it was
Sure.
the state of the art.
As
you know,
wells, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
it's wells, and it's got kind of that concrete construction, which is pretty rare. It's the only one like it in town.
So when was it built?
I don't know,
We
I'm gonna
looked
say
it up the last time.
1910 or 1905.
Yeah.
I
And
thought we did look it
these,
up.
it has these arches in one section of it,
Yeah.
which must be the oldest section. They're Ludovici arches or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, they're
Beautiful.
Nice.
very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Within these massive timbers. And anytime you want to take a tour,
yeah.
Yeah.
I can arrange that, we can see it. And it also has the, a section where there's a giant cupola where they did all the foundry work.
Foundry work, yeah.
So there's a whole, the foundry section is kind of intact.
Had a chimney.
Yeah,
They aren't
They don't, but
Ludovici arches because it doesn't have Ludovici tiles like they do at Forbes Library, but it is with a brick. And it was common in 19th century in Boston,
Okay.
so.
yeah, I think it's pretty architecturally unique and
Yeah.
significant. I'm not an
Definitely.
architect, but I think it's pretty darn cool.
Mm.
And it's unlike most of the other sort of factory kind of warehouse buildings that you'd see, especially in town. I don't think there's anything like it. But nevertheless, it's there, it's pretty solid. Even if you don't care about the architecture piece, it's pretty solid. And I think it's worth fixing, and if the town can get money to fix it, why not? And actually use it, because it's just kind of got junk in it. So we kind of wanted to put our 2 cents in about that. We talked a little bit about the survey update,
Right.
and we're still have to communicate, hear back from Athena. I'm trying to remember now, she asked for something.
I don't think I have my notes.
Yeah, but, well, she emailed me back again that she wanted, because she wanted, remember when she talked about having the local districts, that piece?
Oh, right, that thing.
And
Right,
that was
right.
confusing.
Yeah,
That was totally confusing.
Yeah.
And and you said, well, we do have them, and then I
Yeah,
reached
no.
out.
yeah, we
And-
have local area districts, we don't have zoning.
Why is it
Historic
not the
zoning
same thing? I
districts.
don't.
You know, there actually is a good explanation on the Mass Historic page
Yeah,
about what's the difference between a local historic district and a National Register district. They're just totally different animals.
And the survey has, it's broken up into some districts.
Right.
And that, right.
Right.
And that's the only districts that I know about. There's the Main
Yeah.
Street district and whatever. Okay.
Right, but they're not zoning districts, and the state is trying to reinforce towns for passing zoning districts, because then you get some clout. You actually get to control what people do with their buildings. But I don't think we have consistency enough to
Yeah, it's, I mean,
pass one. Yeah,
it's a long-term project,
Right.
for sure.
right.
But anyway, so we clarified that piece,
Yep.
which was useful, because now we know.
Yeah.
And I think that's all I have for that. Demo applications, I looked at a garage kind of thing, an attached garage at 376 Lyden Road. That was in horrible shape. And I was like, oh, it is. And anyway, so that,
Don't lean on it.
it was kind of impressive that, like, I stood there like in the street, and I could see that it was like a cinder block foundation, and you could just take the cinder blocks right out. It was like they were just not it. And I was like, you look at this part and it looked okay, and I was like, wow, that's wild. And I'm sure they, anyway, whatever. This is kind of cute, but it's always kind of neat to see. It was like a single car, probably built in the 20s, and the first automobile came into the house, and they just stuck it off the back. And not very good footing on it, so anywho. And that's it. Oh, that's it for that. The only other thing, I did get an email today. It was about the native, Native American. It was like there was like a Native American site tour, and they wanted to know if we wanted to be on it. There's somebody, here it is, somebody from the Historic Society on it. There we go. David Brule concerning new funding to continue the battlefield study and request for a representative from the Historical Commission to be on. So I know Peter was involved with that.
You're talking about the Turner's Falls battlefield? the
Correct.
Falls fight?
Yes. So there's, as you guys might remember, that's a subject that's been circulating through for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'll read the email from David Brule is this. Hi Eric, the battlefield study from the 1676 massacre and counterattack has once again been funded. Much of the research this round will directly concern the events in Greenfield. As much as I would like to have a representative from the Greenfield Historical Commission on the advisory board to join commissioners from the Montague, Deerfield, Northfield, and Gill. Greenfield has not had a rep since the passing of Peter Miller. Best way to contact them, how can you do it? Forward this to them. So he forwarded it to me. That was today, this afternoon. Who wants to volunteer?
I'll do that.
Yes.
All right, yay.
Of course you will.
I'm a military historian.
It's
Oh,
pretty.
there
have
we
to.
I
go.
was gonna say, you
What
know
an
that-
honor.
You know that material
Yeah.
very well. He knows that, no,
No,
seriously.
Oh,
You want
all
somebody who
right.
knows
Great.
yeah.
what the issues
Snap
are.
them into place, Tim.
So send my name and contact.
Absolutely, sir.
You're drafted.
Yeah, no. Said it.
Once again.
It sounds very, very cool. Not for nothing, but it would be cool to see. This has been going for years. That people, right? I don't need to tell you, but it would be nice to see after all of this effort
Yeah.
and study
Yeah.
that there's a tour, there's a site,
Sure.
there's
Sure.
interpretive signage or
The
something.
problem has been all along revisionist history.
Yes.
Is that the versions of that battle, there must be at least half a dozen of them, and they're all are totally contradictory.
Really?
You know, it's either a treacherous attack on unsuspecting, you know, peaceful people, or it's a retribution attack for previous horrible attacks on unsuspecting people, or it's a, you know, there's a lot of different versions of that.
Uh-huh.
And so, you know, pay your money and take your choice. It just depends on,
But Turner wasn't a good guy.
well, nobody was.
He didn't have any choice.
There were no good guys.
He
in
needed
those
the
days.
money.
I mean, nobody was good.
Yeah, who's a good guy?
No, it was a horrible, horrible battle.
See, that's the whole conversation, that's why, you know, that's
Yeah.
literally the
But the
point.
thing is,
Yeah.
it's
It's good to have it.
couched in terms of Native Americans versus the English, and that was not the way it was. There were mixed groups on either side.
Yeah. It's complicated.
It
Well,
was
well,
very
we're
complicated.
glad you'll be there to help us sort it out.
There you go. There you go.
You can, I will go on the record saying that I will not be able to
Anytime
sort
I
it
can
out.
get somebody else to volunteer for something, I consider it.
I will not be able to sort it out. No, it's
Um,
not happening.
All right, that's all I got.
I have one item, which
Yes.
is, I was kind of a little discouraged to see that the armory is being auctioned by the state
Oh, yes.
on September 28th.
Yipper.
Yeah. And there's it's open.
Yeah, the
Tour on
20th, the
20th.
tour is the 20th, 10 to noon.
Do you have to sign up to get in?
I think you
Reading
can
about
just
it,
show up.
contact J Manning Auctioneer, who are the agents
I'd like
for
to see it.
DCAM.
It's been a long time since I've seen
Yeah.
They have it
It took, like,
assessed at
comedians
1.2
to us.
million.
it. Yeah, do we get taxes on it?
No, of course we don't.
Yeah.
It's the state, we don't get taxes.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Boy,
So,
Yeah.
that's, the history of that is,
yeah, sad.
Did the state offer it to the town?
I don't know anything about it other than seeing
the
the auction
They did,
notice.
town passed on it. Yeah.
what's that?
I heard that it was offered to the town and they passed on it.
Passed on it,
But
Not-
I'm not
Just
sure.
the red.
No idea.
I mean, it would make sense that they would because it's like ours, it's here.
Yeah.
And,
It
but
must
you
be,
know,
But it does
it's,
have a
as you
certain-
know, it's kind of like a big show.
it must be exorbitant to keep running.
Right.
Oh, my gosh.
I can't imagine.
Yeah,
what
but
would
it's
that's
so
a lot of
cool.
maintenance.
I used to drive,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
train
it's huge.
dogs there. I drove around a tank. You know, I actually won something from the newspaper and you got to drive around for a day with the National Guard. And
In a tank.
yeah, and you got to be in a personal. It was actually a personal carrier.
Cool.
No tank on it. It fit maybe a 50 millimeter gun on it, but it wasn't a tank. But you could drive it around, and they took it out to Turner's, and drove it. You know where they.
Really? This is kind
Yeah,
of.
you know the.
I don't
you know the
recall this
fairground-
ever.
You know the fairground or the Renaissance Fair
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
took it there.
That's the Rod and Gun
Rod-
Club.
yeah.
Yeah, they took it there.
On the
And
street?
you drive it, well, off on the side there. But we drove it around in the field
Where's the flag?
for, and that was who won the, I forgot what it was, but the Greenfield Recorder sponsored it for that.
How long ago
for
was that?
year. When was it?
How long ago was that? Yeah.
Oh, it must have been 74 or 73.
1974.
Yeah.
Where's the flag?
Cool.
Wow, exciting.
You can just imagine the militia guys in their uniforms having cotillions in that building.
Yeah. I know.
Yes.
You know, they would have these huge dances and
Yeah.
people would come from all
Yeah,
over.
there's one in every
And
size.
the guys would be wearing their uniforms, and every militia unit had a different uniform. The guys up in,
Can we Motion to adjourn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I
sorry.
apologize.
No,
I
it's-
apologize.
you know, we've got other.
A motion to adjourn.
Okay.
I second. All
We've
approved?
lost a pen.
Aye,
Michael.
aye, okay. we're
Aye.
good. Margot, you can leave, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're getting dragged.
Oh, and you were so good.
Wasn't she good?
Yeah.
You were really
Yeah.
excellent.
I don't see
Future
a pen.
historian of the, I know, it disappeared. Maybe-
Unless it's in the
maybe I
chair.
have it.
Yeah.
So,
It must be in
how
the
are you
chair.
selling those?
Oh, well, next time.
Well,